We are a little bit behind time, and that is mainly because I forgot to update the schedule when I moved the material about wildcards into navigating the file tree from patterns where it was before. Okay, so modifying the file tree. How do you create and remove files and directories? We just saw one example of removing files. How do I copy or rename files and directories? And you'll see why those two operations are mentioned together. So we have already learned something about navigating the file system and about files and directories and paths. Now we will be able to create and delete files and directories as well as rename and copy them. So creating and removing directories and files. Let's try and do that through the command line interface. Creating a directory. You have seen me create one with mkdir. I will go up one. I am now in my exercises directory. I will create a directory, just calling it hello. And I can also create a directory plus a subdirectory at the same time. If I say mkdir and new dir slash my dir, and I need to put a -p in order to create this directory and the subdirectory at the same time. If I want to remove a directory, I can with rm -r and the directory, and you need the R means you also remove the subdirectory. If you don't add that, it will not work if you have a lot of subdirectories below it, because you cannot remove a directory and not remove the subdirectories. You can also add -f. That means ignore, for instance, non-existing files and argument and never prompt. That is somewhat dangerous because it removes what you tell it to remove. It doesn't ask. You can also add the option -i. That means you are assured it will prompt and ask you, do you want to remove this before each removal? So I will create my new dir, and please try and do the same. And I will also create yet another directory with a subdirectory. So now I have several directories, and I will try and remove the directory my new dir. It disappears here because there was nothing under it. Let me show you what happens if I say I want to remove cool dir. Let's see if that actually worked. It actually works at Tetralit. On my home computer, it will have prompted and asked if I wanted to do that. So Tetralit has -f on as default, so it will remove directories. So beware of that, but some centers may have that. So in order to avoid that, you could simply add I, and then it should prompt. Yeah, and it does. So that worked. Good. So if you're at a center where -f force is on as default, which you can be, it's safer to put I, otherwise it will just remove. So to create a file, you normally use an editor like Nano, Vim, Emacs, etc. We'll talk about them. But it's also possible to create an empty file with the command touch. So touch and my new file text. And then you get a file that's called my new file.txt. You can also remove files with rm. Again, you can add the flag or option -I to prompt before removing. If you remove files, if you remove directories, they are deleted permanently in general. They cannot normally be restored unless you are lucky and there is a system backup. But if it's a new file you just created today, there's not going to be a backup. It's gone when you delete it. So yeah. Again, if you don't add -I, the file will be deleted without prompting. Be careful, be sure you know what you're doing. Don't do what someone did at the place where I studied previously, where one of the professors had root access, was tired, and did rm -rf star in the root and deleted everyone's files just before going home and sleeping. He was not popular the next day, and things were gone, which also is not good. There should have been some sort of backup, but be careful. You cannot delete other people's files because you don't have permission to do that, but you could do this to yourself. It would be unpleasant. And using wildcards, glob patterns will only increase the strength of RM, so you can quickly delete a lot of them, which is very useful and sometimes dangerous. And if you didn't, let's try again. Touch file text. And then I will try and say remove remove file text. It's gone because it's not asking for it here. But let's try and add the I. It now asks. So for these examples here, there's a reminder. mkdir, the directory, create a directory, rm -rf directory, remove a directory. The flag R means recursively, F means without asking. At some centers, this is not needed. It will have F as default. CD, go to home directory. CD, a directory name or path, change directory to that directory. With 2 dots, change directory to parent directory of current directory. CD and align, go back to previous directory, touch file, create an empty file with the name file, rm file, remove it. PWD tells you your current path. So let's try and do this small code along. I'll just check on the time. Okay, I will be quick. So let's try and follow this example. We are creating a directory, my own test deal. I can't spell, but doesn't really matter because you can call it what you want. Then go into it. We now have an empty directory. Let's create 3 directories below it. You can call them what you want to. I am in general not very good at coming up with good names, so that's why they are named as they are. Let's try and remove one of them. See, it's gone. Let me go into one of them. the test dir 1. There's nothing below it. I will create some files with touch file 1.txt, touch file 2.sh, touch file 3c, touch so now we have some directories. You can see them here with ls. And let's try and remove one of them. And with ls, you can see it's gone. Let's make another attempt to remove a file, and this time add -i. It will ask, and it's gone. Let's go up one. Let's go into test dir 2. There's nothing in that. Let's create some files. So we have a lot of files here. Let's try and see what happens if we say ls star cool star text. It lists all of them as expected. What happens if we remove star cool and then a curly bracket 1 dot text? And that was not supposed to be IT. It was supposed to be R. And it removed anything that did not, as you can see, where were they? Here. You can see it took the ones that had cool 1, and it took the one that had my cool, but it didn't touch the cool file because it didn't match this here, and it also didn't match this one here. This one here, as you can see. So that is also a way of singling out that you only want to delete a specific thing. And this was done on Tetralit. It will look different on other systems. Okay, copying files and directories. So to copy, you use CP, and you use CP copy my file to a directory with this command here. And if you want to copy a directory to another directory, you can do that. And beware, it will overwrite existing files with the same name, at least at many centers. And if you have a -R, and then you can copy both the directory and all its subdirectories into directory 2. And if you put -I when you copy files, it will ask before overwriting if there's a file with the same name. So again, beware, you risk overwriting stuff if you don't add -I, if you have something named the same. This is just a repeat. This is how the directory structure looks. So change to your subdirectory. Again, let's go back here. So now I am in exercises. and I have a directory, my test dir, that I'm going to go into. So please do the same. And now we are there. I would like to copy the file, my file.txt, into test dir1. And I would like to just show you what happened. It's now there. And I would like to create a new directory, test dir3, inside of test dir1. So I will do that. I can do it the exact way, sure. Like that. And then I want to copy the new subdirectory testdir to the directory testdir2. Remember, testdir2 is located outside testdir1 at the same level as testdir1. So that means you can do this in more than one way. And you also need the option -r recursive when you copy directories. So you can do this in several ways. You can either go up one to the parent directory and then directly copy testdir1 under /testdir3 into testdir2, or you can do it while standing inside testdir1. Or if you want, you could give the full path while copying, and in that case, it can be done from anywhere. So I am in testdir1. I am going to use this command here, testdir3, and then I am going to say up1, testdir2, and then it copied it there. Let's see. There's now a testdir3 there, as you can see. Okay. So let's go to renaming files and directories. MV is short for move. It is used to rename files and directories. You can also move it to another location. That means it's not just copy, it actually removes it from where it is and moves it to the other place. So if you do move mv file1 to file2, it renames file1 to file2. Move directory1 to directory2, renames it. Move file1 to dir1 / moves the file into the directory and removes it from where it was located before. If you put -i on it, it's interactive. It asks before overwriting if there's already a file with the destination name. The same with directories, of course. Note that it complains if there's already a file or directory with the new name. You can, in many cases, and you can always use -i to assure that this is the case. You can force it with -f so it does it regardless, and then it will remove the one that had the same name. So let's do a quick exercise. Let's just take 3 minutes or something to create 3 files with touch, create a directory, create a subdirectory, and create a file in the subdirectory, another file inside the directory you created, move it to the subdirectory, rename one of the directories, delete or remove a file, delete and remove the subdirectory. There's a solution, but try to do it yourself first. So let's, as I said, take 3 minutes. Okay. Uh, well, you can see a solution here. If you had any problems, but probably not. So let's quickly continue to Symlinks, and after that we will take a short break before going on to editors. So a symbolic link is a pointer to another file or directory. Symbolic links are also called soft links or symlinks. They are useful both for ease, to avoid using a long path each time you change to a directory, like your project directory, if you have one of those on many of the systems, HPC systems, you will often have a project directory with storage. It's also useful to avoid changing hard links within other scripts or programs. This is good if you, for instance, install a program or use a script that assumes a library it uses is called libcoolness.a and not libcoolness.2.0.a, which is common. So you can then just update the symlink instead of rename the library or updating maybe many instances where it's mentioned in your program. And the command to do so is ln -s, the real file or library, and the link name. And I'm going to do this as an example. I'm going to create one for the exercises directory from my home directory. You can see with pwd that this is a path. So I'm going to change to my home directory. I'm going to say ln -s, and then I will take the path to this directory here. And then I will name it something, exercises. And then I will look what I got. Let's see, it should be somewhere. There, I think. This is weird. What did I write? I already had something called exercises, so that was why. Let's remove that. It's taking a long time. I don't feel like waiting for it. I will instead call it something. And then you can see here, I now have a symbolic link called something that points into this file. So I will just say cd something, and it's now put me into this directory. But notice that, of course, it's named as you named it. But that is an easy way of quickly going to this directory here. You don't need to now type the whole full path. You can just type something. Okay. So what have we looked at? We created a directory. We have removed directories. We have created empty files with touch, removed file with rm, copying file with cp, renaming them with mv. Symbolic links are pointers to another file or directory. And remember, always test glob patterns with ls before you use rm-r to remove them, or use -i. So